to No Movies in Hell. I'm Chris Geiger.
I'm Klaus Scott, and today we are reviewing Fire of Love, a documentary about some volcanologists.
It sounds like something out of Star Trek.
It does.
Like, oh, do you study Vulcans?
Basically, they did. No.
I saw footage of these two people in a different movie years ago, a Werner Herzog movie about volcanoes.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't really like have a whole lot about them or their story. It was just kind of like, these are people who study volcanoes. And there was some footage of, it was actually the footage of that. It's a couple clips. The one where they're wearing the metal hats that make them look like aliens, that their mom made a Halloween costume for them. There was that clip was in there, I think. And then one of the clips where they just like look like they're wearing aluminum foil jackets and they just walk up to this giant lava flow.
Yeah.
So when I saw that trailer for this, I thought, oh, this looks amazing. So, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it really was. It's interesting. I heard about their story. Undergrad, I took a class called Natural Disasters, and there was a segment on volcanoes. And my professor started talking about like these people, but didn't really like, we didn't have a book. It was just like you had to come to class, and he started talking. He told all these stories, and he was telling the story about two individuals and basically what they were doing, and unfortunately like how they died. It didn't really click until I saw, I think maybe the trailer in front of The Northman, and I was like, oh, okay, like this movie's coming out, this looks great, I really want to see this. And then finally saw it, and it's so good. It's so original, and I like the storytelling aspect of this. Of, there are some unknowns in terms of like how they met, but ultimately it's kind of how they, wanted to see more, or were kind of tired of people, and then started to study this volcanoes and understand volcanoes, and then kind of swung back to caring about people because of the impact of the Ring of Fire. Oh my gosh, like so much footage, and like just seeing them kind of walk up. Like the craziest part is like them just walking up to lava and pretending like it's nothing. Meanwhile, it's 90 degrees in New York, and you're just like sweltering, like I can't move. Imagine going up to something that's like 1400 degrees and just like, putting a pan, like an iron pan, and frying an egg and being like, oh, this is great.
Right. I mean, the amount of footage they had was amazing. And it's amazing in the context of the story of how they met wasn't documented. After they met, the documentation started, and I like the part where they showed the different takes.
Yes.
Of specific moments where they had multiple, like, of him walking up to the edge of this crest and like, okay, do it again, but this time like face the camera, or do it again and this time face away from the camera. And so it seemed very like of the moment, right? Like people would totally do that for Instagram. Like I'm gonna do different versions of this, but this was so before any of that became pop culture, and so they were doing it, and it's not like they had formal media training or anything, like they weren't filmmakers, or they were filmmakers, I guess, but they weren't trained filmmakers, and that wasn't their goal to set out to be filmmakers. They were just researchers. And then if you think, wow, they have these volumes of footage, and the footage that they use isn't great quality compared to our standards now. It's all grainy and it looks like, but that's what they had. So if you think about the equipment they were using back then, they would show how like they take their rusty old van out into like
in Iceland. Oh my gosh.
And so, but it doesn't, like, if you think about now, you take a couple digital cameras and something to charge your batteries and you go. But they're taking all these like big heavy cameras and all of this like film with them, and actual battery packs, like non-rechargeable batteries, because there's no place for them to recharge them. And so if you think about how much stuff they had to just have with them to get that volume of footage back then, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the cruise that went with them, the first, like, it was just them two, then they were able to expand a little bit, and then, them just either collecting samples or taking photos or taking video and being around so much heat that it like melted their clothing, with the exception of their shoes. I was like, what type of shoes? Like, who made their shoes? Because they were walking on like these really hot surfaces, and you can see like there was no, like, the rubber was not melting off at all. Like, those are some durable shoes. I was just like, how's this happening? And I love how the woman, her cheeks were so rosy because she was probably so overexposed to like the red lava, and then later like the gray lava, and or the gray like ash plumes. But like, one of the scenes that really stood out to me was when he literally took a, like, an inflatable boat with an assistant
Oh,
onto the lake with sulfuric acid. I was just like, this is insane. Like, and the equipment melted. So it's like, if the equipment is melting and you're in like, whatever, a hobby type,
right,
inflatable boat, like, you're toast.
right, right. I mean, they definitely did crazy things. Like, and even, I mean, she was a scientist and she was like, don't do that. Like, don't
Yeah.
go out. It was interesting that not only did he go out, but he got that other guy to go with him.
Yeah.
If I were the other guy, I'd be like, no, no.
Yeah. I value my life. Thank you, but no thank you.
Well, and also of all the ways that I want to die, sulfuric bath, acid bath
Yeah.
is not high on the list.
And you can see all the like animals that were in that area that were just like completely oh my gosh, like,
Stripped.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Like, amazing, amazing film. I really hope that it gets nominated this year for best documentary.
Definitely. Let's go to our slides. 14, which remember, it's not a full 30 for
That's right.
the look, I gave it a 15, which that is a perfect score.
It is a perfect score. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. I was gonna say, like, jewelry could potentially be a category in this one because they're volcanic rocks.
That's true. That's true.
I think it's probably one of the best documentaries I've seen.
Hmm. I agree. I mean, I think it was very well done. You could tell it took just a tremendous like effort to go through all the footage that they had.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a 2 on story because I wanted more clarity around certain things, like
Mm-hmm.
the way that they met.
Yeah.
And somebody has to know that story. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it just seemed like they were so reclusive to the outside world that, like, yeah, we may never know, unless the way that they like reshot possibly like the different scenarios
yeah.
makes sense.
The way they approached not knowing was good, but I still took points away on the story.
Yeah.
And then soundtrack, I felt like the soundtrack was okay. But it didn't really stand out to me as overwhelmingly good.
I like moogie 70s music, so I I had a blast. Quite literally.
Yeah, but definitely highly recommend. I wanted to see this in the theater because the footage was so, you're taking something that is real, but should not be real. Watching that on TV, on my TV at home, is not going to be the same experience.
Yeah. I'm glad National Geographic had some point, like, I guess that may have been one of the distributors. So I actually was curious if it will end up on like D plus at some point, but it was, yeah, I'm very happy to have seen this in the theater. Didn't see it in IMAX. Definitely, like, it is one of those films to see in the theater because of the magnitude.
Yeah, for sure. I do think I read that it's going to show up on Disney Plus.
Oh.
Do you have anything to plug in this episode?
We have some films coming at we're set to see. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, Prey, yes, on Hulu. So we have more movies in the can.
Now, are
Or
you
coming out.
Are you gonna see Paws of Fury?
I might, only because you're gonna see it. And you're not an animated
I'm
person, so this is a big deal.
right. I'm not a children's animation person.
Okay.
I'm for sure an adult animation person.
Okay.
But this looks cute. It's Michelle Yeoh, who I love. Why not? It's Stubbsable. I'll go see it.
Yes. Stubbsable is a word that we use as well.
Yeah, it's a well, I think I stole that word from you. It's surprising to me because it just came out a couple weeks ago. And I feel like those family animation movies tend to stay in theaters for a really long time.
Oh yeah.
But it's not. I think this is the last week it's going to be out in New York anyway, because it's only showing in the AMC Harlem location,
Oh.
and it's only got 3 showings a day.
Oh wow. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
So I think this is like
gotta catch it.
yeah. If you're gonna see it on the big screen, at least, I think it's going out fast. Surprising though, I would not have thought that. I would have thought some of the other things that are still out. would
Sing
go-
2 is probably still out in movie theaters.
Right. Well, there are a bunch of things that are out that I'm like, why is that still out? And maybe it's not. Maybe just the app has the picture of it.
And Jurassic Dominion, Park Dominion, or World Dominion is still out.
Yeah, like Black Phone is still out, which I would have thought would have been gone. Jurassic
Yeah.
is still out. Lightyear is still out.
Lightyear's on Disney Plus.
I know. I don't understand it. Thor is still out. Elvis is still out. Like just a bunch of stuff that you would have thought would have turned by now. Still available. So who knows what the algorithm is on that. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.